Frank Zappa, a documentary narration, his early life and musical foundations. Frank Vincent Zappa was born on December 21, 1940, in Baltimore, Maryland.
And my name is Bobby Brown.
We live in a country where we're supposed to be free. We supposedly have democracy. Here, what do? Sit around and go,
Didn't really fit into any particular political bucket, and a lot of people claimed him. I think that Zappa was, at heart, anti-authoritarian, very pro-individual liberty. He was not super anti-government. He just was anti-government corruption, malfeasance, and very pro-citizens' rights.
A self-taught musician, Zappa absorbed contradictory influences, doo-wop, rhythm and blues, and avant-garde composers. At 12, he traded drum lessons for a record player, building a diverse collection of instruments. His first bands, like the racially integrated Blackouts, faced 1950s backlash, which foreshadowed his battles against conformity.
We were loud, we were coarse, and we were strange.
In 1963, Zappa appeared on The Steve Allen Show, performing an improvised piece on a bicycle. When Allen quipped, "How long have you been playing bike, Frank?" Zappa deadpanned, "About 2 weeks." He plucked spokes like harp strings, transforming an ordinary object into an instrument, a metaphor for his career-long mission to redefine music. By 1966, he formed the Mothers of Invention, releasing Freak Out, rock music's first conceptual double album. It satirized middle-class complacency, directly influencing the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper. Zappa was an outspoken advocate of censorship, defending artistic freedom. Zappa's most public battle erupted in 1985, when the Parents Music Resource Center, led by Tipper Gore, demanded warning labels on albums. Testifying before Congress, he dismantled their logic by saying that if lyrics make people do things, how come we do not love each other?
I'm a parent. I've got 4 children. 2 of them are here. I want them to grow up in a country where they can think what they want to think, be what they want to be, and not what somebody's wife or somebody in government makes them be. I don't want to have.
He branded their proposal an ill-conceived piece of nonsense and toilet training for composers, arguing labels would force adults to ask permission like children.
Zappa's testimony is really, really impressive. Like, it's basically a 6-page manifesto about the importance of the Constitution.
The PMRC proposal is an ill-conceived piece of nonsense which fails to deliver any real benefits to children, infringes the civil liberties of people who are not children, and promises to keep the courts busy for years dealing with the interpretational and enforcemental problems inherent in the proposal's design. It is my understanding that, in law, First Amendment issues are decided with a preference for the least restrictive alternative. In this context, the PMRC demands are the equivalent of treating dandruff by decapitation.
It's interesting because in retrospect, a lot of people look at those hearings as a failure because they ended up with the advisory sticker. But the fact is what the PMRC was trying to do was censor content at its root. So to end up with an advisory sticker, which became basically a badge of honor for any artist who wanted to appear legit, it was a huge victory and an enormous setback for this sort of autocratic notion of policing culture in such a ludicrous way. And we find ourselves, in a similar time. I'm sure Zappa would have been very vocal of what's going on now. But it did, I think, put him on the map in terms of a certain generation who may not have come to him in the 70s or even in the early 80s, who suddenly realized he was out there battling for them. He was very eloquent, very accessible, very smart, and hilarious. And he made great music. So I think it woke a lot of people up to him, actually.
The absurdity peaked when his entirely instrumental album, Jazz from Hell, received a Parental Advisory sticker. Proof, he argued, of censorship is arbitrary enforcement. Zappa viewed government as the entertainment division of the military-industrial complex. He rejected partisan loyalty, skewering both parties. Republican is fine. If you are a millionaire, Democrats is fair. If all you own is what you wear, neither of them is really right, because neither of them care. His activism extended beyond lyrics. He set up voter registration booths at concerts, urging youth to run for something. After Czechoslovakia's Velvet Revolution, President Havel appointed him a cultural liaison, a role revoked under U.S. pressure, highlighting his warning that America risked becoming a fascist theocracy. Frank's family, using unconventional names and his fractured legacy. Zappa's approach to family mirrored his artistic defiance. With his wife, Gail, he named his children Moon Unit, reflecting his view that her birth unified the family. His son Dweezil was originally Ian Donald. Calvin Euclid, another son, Ahmet Muha Rodan, combined Turkish and Japanese pop culture references, and daughter Diva Muffin, a name Zappa called poetic.
4 kids.
Yeah.
Tell their
mortgage
names.
the works. The oldest one is Moon, and then there's Dweezil, and then there's Ahmet, and then there's Diva. The youngest one is 7 months, the oldest one is 12.
Where did you come up with those names?
Same place I come up with the names for the albums, like Weasels Rip My Flesh and Hot Rats and things like that. You know, one day you get an idea for a name, and next thing you know, there's a child, and you stick it on there.
How do they like them?
I think that they like them pretty well. I haven't been able to discuss it thoroughly with Diva yet, but nobody else has opted for a change, and they've all had the chance to. I've told them that it doesn't cost very much to have it modified.
How do your kids like Daddy? How do they relate to what you do? They were all at the concert last night, including your wife.
Well, they like me. You know, no reason why they shouldn't. I'm a good dad. They don't see me a lot, but when they see me, we have a good time.
What do you do?
Well, first of all, I treat them like people, and I have interesting conversations with them, and I play with them.
What do you play?
Whatever they want. You know, sometimes they want to erase little cars around on the floor. Sure, what the hey, you know. It's not my idea of a good time, but, you know.
How do they like your music?
Well, Moon doesn't like this song that I wrote called City of Tiny Lights. I just found that out the other day. Dweezil really likes I Don't Want to Get Drafted. Ahmet's favorite songs are Baby Snakes and Why Does It Hurt When I Pee.
And of course, the baby hasn't had a thing to say yet about any of it.
Well, according to reports from last night, that was the first concert that she'd seen, that she enjoyed the whole event until she went to sleep.
Their upbringing blended countercultural chaos and artistic neglect. Frank prioritized work while his wife Gail managed the household with volatile rigidity. The children sought attention. Moon and Ahmet ran away unnoticed. Diva cherished rare moments watching The Simpsons with her dying father. After Frank's 1993 death, Gail controlled his estate. She altered their trust, leaving Ahmet and Diva 30% each as managers, while Moon Unit and Dweezil received 20% each. This sparked public feuds. Ahmet blocked Dweezil from touring as Zappa plays Zappa, forcing him to rename his tour Cease and Desist. They briefly reconciled in 2018, but now are estranged. Frank's Zappa's legacy. The unyielding innovator. Zappa died of prostate cancer on December 4, 1993, but his ethos endured.
I think he matters now because he was very far ahead of his time in terms of dealing with where government was going, rise of far-right nationalism. He was very anti-authoritarian, very anti-fascist, and very pro-citizens' rights. But he also saw the tech revolution coming. So in all of these extremely interesting ways, Zappa was ahead of the curve.
Composed over 60 albums, merging rock, jazz, and orchestral works with lyrical satire. His final project, The Yellow Shark, received a standing ovation in Germany, a testament to his undiminished creativity. Posthumously inducted into the Rock Hall of Fame and awarded a Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award. His influence persists through Dweezil in performances and Ahmet as management of the Zappa Family Trust. Yet his true legacy is encapsulated in his own words. A mind is like a parachute. It does not work if it is not open. And as he insisted, without deviation from the norm, progress is not possible.
Watch out where the huskies go. Don't you eat that yellow snow.